Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hello, Darren John Cohen. Welcome to Life in a Garden Online. It's fabulous to have you here this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
You look a bit frosty, all wrapped up in your jacket. Is it cold where you are?
I'm in Bloemfontein and I can assure you that it's cold here. I didn't believe what people said, but when it's cold, it's cold. So yeah, excuse the jacket, but it is pretty cold here in the evenings.
Darren, what's a nice Jewish boy doing in Bloem?
What happened was that my partner got a job, and part of the job was that he needed to come to Bloemfontein for 2 years. So what do you do when you are in love with someone? You follow them. So I followed him.
You break up with them?
No, I ended up marrying him.
Oh, so you married him? Shit,
Yeah.
like I've got my claws in you and I'm not letting go.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, let's go, Bloemfontein. He was quite happy to commute. I was like, not tonight, Josephine. I was like, no ways, not going to do that. You go, I go. So yeah, so we're here,
It's like
and
Ruth
it's really
and Naomi.
It's really a great city. I don't know how many people have been here, but it really is. People are very friendly. Everyone speaks English, and yeah, so it's great. It really is lovely. Love it. There's a saying here: you cry 2 times in your life. The first time when you come and to live in Bloem, and the second time is when you leave Bloem. So I'll let you know about the leaving part.
What have we got, about 18 months to go?
No, it's been a year already, so another year. So
okay,
let's wait
so it's gone quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
How time flies when you're in love.
Oh Lord, absolutely, absolutely.
And have you got puppies?
I have one dog who's the most adorable thing in my life. His name is Spencer.
Yeah.
And I'll quickly tell you how why he had to be called Spencer, because my partner's name is Mark. And Mark, when he lived in the UK, used to work for
Marks and Spencer.
He was like, that's the condition that we get in the dog. I was like, I can live with that.
So it's like Mark and Spencer and Darren.
Correct.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, exactly. But he did give me he has registered the surname. So the dog is registered on his certificate. His name is Spencer Cohen.
Oh, a nice Jewish surname, nice Jewish dog. I'm very impressed. Has he had the snip, darling?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course.
So Darren, just before we get into why we're talking tonight, tell us where you come from.
Okay, so I grew up in Johannesburg, and I've never lived anywhere else other than Johannesburg in my 55 years. I grew up in Hillbrow, and subsequently did all the things that guys normally do. I went to the army for 2 years. Post that, I then went to Wits.
Were you out already when you went to the army?
I was, but people always say to me, you must have had so much fun, and not for me. I don't know, I was just it just wasn't something that entered my mind. I was aware that there were gay guys there, but it wasn't something that totally entered my mind in terms of that it was going to happen to me. So I went to the army. After that, I went to Wits. I did a degree, a Bachelor of Arts, and I majored in industrial psychology, and then started a career in insurance. I've worked in insurance, I've worked in retail, and then, so Mark is my second relationship. I've had 2 relationships in my entire life. The first one was, are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready. Hit me with it, baby.
Okay, 27 years.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So it was a long relationship.
Like being in jail?
It was like being in jail. It was I don't know why I ever stayed in that relationship for that amount of time, but I think that's led me to where I am as a person now. So that whole thing about how life leads you in a path, because as much as it was a relationship, it was a very one-sided relationship. He was very controlling, he was very domineering. It was just all the things that a relationship shouldn't be. And I've only realized that now late in my life, how those kinds of things, I mean, it stood me good now because I now am able to talk to people that I see that are in relationships that are unhappy. And I often say to them, just understand. And I know it sounds so cliched that life is just so short to be unhappy.
Yeah.
And I say to people, if you're unhappy in a relationship, get out, talk to people. There must be someone you can talk to. I was in this relationship that was terrible. He was abusive, and he wasn't physically abusive. He was emotionally abusive. And that's another thing that I've learned, is that sometimes emotional abuse can be 150 times worse than physical abuse.
Yeah.
Because physical abuse, you'll get a punch or whatever, and the bruise will fade. Emotional abuse is very, very difficult to live with because it just takes so much longer, and it sticks in your mind, and you eventually end up believing things, and it's coming from the person that you love. So I mean, that's why I've often also said to people, just I know what it's like, and it's very difficult for people. Because
what are you fidgeting with? Put it down.
Okay, mommy. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, Darren, it's going click, 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 and I want to slap you with it just now, okay?
Okay. No. So, yeah, so all these things have happened, and it's kind of now in my later years of life, I feel that I'm now able to be in situations and not help people, but you just are so much more aware, because you'll hear people saying, I hate my husband, or I hate my boy. And I'm like, well, then leave. If you don't, why are you staying there? And I know sometimes there are extenuating circumstances in terms of financial things, and you can't always leave. But then talk to people. That's the thing. I went through all of this, and I never, ever let anyone know what was happening. Everyone thought that was the best relationship in the world. They thought I was the happiest boy in town. In the meantime, it really was traumatic, and I didn't realize. And I had friends, but I just thought, no, my problems, I must deal with them. So I didn't speak to anyone about it. And my advice is, if you have a problem, talk to people, because there are people who really, really care.
Not me. Don't talk to me. I'm not interested.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So subsequent to that, after this all happened, I was single for 6 years. And then I met the partner now who I ended up marrying. So, there's hope for us all. So that takes it, I've wandered off. So career-wise, then I ran a model agency and a casting agency, where I did castings for television commercials. And then I also, remember, I'm 55, so I've had a lot of jobs. I then worked at an events
I'm stuck on that couch that you mentioned a minute ago, but anyway, okay. Oh, you didn't mention the couch, yeah.
Yeah, so I worked for an events company where I was the talent. I was responsible for finding talent for events. And then that company got liquidated, and it's so weird. I was sitting at home and I was thinking to myself, okay, now I don't have a job. I'm 53 years old. What am I going to do? And I sent an email off to the person who runs Reach for a Dream. And literally the email was like, hi, my name is Darren. I'm currently unemployed and looking for some work to do. And I'd like to be able to come and volunteer, which is what I went and did. I volunteered, and then I became a full-time staff member. And it was at that point that I realized how important it is to get something out of your job. That you don't just go into a job every day just because you've got to have passion and love what you do. Even in my instance where I didn't get paid for it, the soul fulfillment was just amazing. So I loved that aspect of it.
What kind of things did you do for Reach for a Dream?
So I was the team leader. So basically what would happen was that we would find kids, we would do an assessment, and then the kid would say, I would like a laptop. Or in my instance, I'll give an example. The kid said, I've always wanted a piano. It was my duty then to try and, because obviously donors give money to the foundation, but it was also your responsibility to be able to go to donors and say, we have this child, he's looking for a piano, would you be happy to sponsor it? And it's amazing how so many people actually did give without blinking. They said, here, we'll do it. And then what you would do is you would do the dream handover, and you would try and make the element a surprise. So you would say to the kid on the day of his dream, we're just going to go for an ice cream. And then you would say, oh, but I just have to stop here at this place at Yamaha. And we would stop there and we'd say, just come inside with me quickly. And when we went inside, the people would be there and they would go, here and there's your dream. So it was some beautiful, beautiful moments.
Did you spend a lot of time in tears?
Lots. And it doesn't take a lot for me to cry.
I like a man who can cry.
I can cry when I watch a TV commercial, please.
So don't watch TV. That's the moral.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's how I ended up my last job was with Reach for a Dream. And then obviously I moved to Bloem. And while I was here, before the lockdown happened, I obviously then realized my passion was in terms of wanting to help people and just make people's life better. I did a bit of work with hospice, which was also amazing because they do wonderful, wonderful work. And yeah, so that's my very weird and wonderful career path.
So how did I, let me tell you, let me stalk you on Facebook. Yes. See, and what I do, Andrew, is I stalk people on Facebook because Andrew's speaking to us on Tuesday. So then I stalked you on Facebook because there was this really hot oak just expounding all this fabulous good stuff into the world. What was that all about? What is that all about?
Okay, so must I tell you, so a lot of that is therapeutic. A lot of that is done not because I want people to like it. I'm not interested in how many. For me, it's there. So a lot of the things that I put out there are things that I can relate to and maybe things that I've experienced. And the one thing that that's been incredibly amazing with that is that how many people feel the same. So you'll be amazed at how many people will write to me privately and go, oh my God, I can't believe it's like you've read my mind of how I'm feeling. So, I mean, it's amazing. I don't do it for the likes. I'm not interested in how many people like it. I do it, a lot of it is therapeutic for myself because it's how I'm feeling and I just put it out to the universe. And I think if you know, you'll see that as much of it is positive, but there's also, I'll put stuff on there that's not controversial, but some stuff that's negative because even I have shit days.
No, you don't.
I'm just I'm the eternal optimist. No, we all have shit days. I have days that I think to myself, oh, but then, it's another thing that I've realized in this whole thing is how much we take for granted. The fact that we can wake up in the morning, get out of bed, we have roofs over our head, we have just basic things where people have so much less than us. So my message is just to be eternally grateful. So
sometimes the most important thing you can say is just, I'm here for you.
Exactly. Because a lot of people are that's the current message that I've got up there. Because a lot of people also are scared to just reach out. It's a pride thing. It's just something. And I guess, the one thing that I've also realized is that always trust your intuition. If your intuition says to you, and if you've spoken to a friend and something doesn't sound right, how they sound, how your conversation is going to go with them. If your intuition is saying something's not right, don't be afraid to say, are you sure everything's okay? Is everything okay? And even if they say it's fine, and you put down the phone, and the next morning you send a WhatsApp and you say, just want to check that everything's fine. It's people, we all react differently to how people care. Some people, if you ask me now how I was feeling, I would tell you, but you could ask another person and they'd go, no, I'm fine, because that's just how they've learned to put up walls. But you've got to push through that sometimes for the people that you care about and just make sure that they are genuinely okay.
So do a lot of people tell you that they're fine?
They do. And then a lot of people write private messages and say, oh, I'm suffering with this or I'm struggling with that. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't want to be able to have the answers for everyone, because I'm not that type of person. I don't want to be a psychologist. All I want to do is to be able to be an ear, so that sometimes people can just vent. It's another thing that I think is very important. It's very important to vent. I've said to people, if you feel like going, well, it depends where you live. If you feel like going outside and just screaming or just getting it out, it's so important to just vent and get it out your system. If you keep it inside you all the time, it's just going to build up, and more than likely will manifest itself in some kind of illness. You'll make yourself sick, or you'll give yourself a migraine or whatever. So it's important to find an outlet to vent, whether it's you have a friend that you vent with, or you go and paint something, or you take bottles and smash them.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Do yes, smashing of bottles. Once you've drunk the wine, though. So I think it's important.
I've always wanted to throw something across the room, but I really like the stuff that I have. Exactly, so there's nothing that I want to pick up and smash against the wall. And then the other side of that coin is that I'm going to have to go and clean it up afterwards.
Exactly. Like, but seriously? At least you've got it out your system. In the olden days, I guess people used to have diaries. They used to write down in their diaries how they were feeling, but I don't know how many people. I don't know of one person who has a diary. Do you?
I don't know. Darren, do people still journal in this day and age? Yes, people still journal.
Okay, all right. So there's a few, but I'm saying it's important to vent and get it out your system, that how you're feeling. So yeah, and those are things I find ways to vent. So it's important to do that.
When did you become a little ray of sunshine, or have you always been?
So I think I've always been, and I'll tell you something why I think this has happened. So so I'm an only child, number one. And both my parents were alcoholics. Okay. So I grew up very much on my own. I didn't have parents that were there for me. I didn't have the standard upbringing that most, and I suppose, Jewish children have. It was none of that. It wasn't a standard upbringing. So I kind of grew up very much dealing with my own stuff. And I just I guess as I got older, I just realized that the person, I wasn't going to let my circumstances affect the person that I was. So I was never going to allow the fact that because I'd come from an alcoholic background, that was going to now make me the sad, dreary person, whatever. So I realized that, no, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I bet you if we went through all the people who are listening to this, we would all have our own shit.
Everybody's got baggage. It doesn't matter who you speak
to. Exactly. So I guess that's when I decided I've just always kind of just been that person to go, I had a shitty upbringing, and that's just unfortunately the cards that were dealt to me. I had a bad relationship, but I'm not going to let it affect me as a person. So yeah, it's not like I've always just had this. I've dealt with a lot of shit in my life, but I've realized that it's important to just kind of, what you put out to the universe hopefully will come back. So if I can make one person smile, then I'm going to be a happier person. Smile, Mandi. See?
I tend to smile quite a lot. And I laugh at very inappropriate things.
Well, but that's fine. That's you. And that people must understand that we're all so different. We're all so different, and yet we're all the same, if that kind of makes sense. We all think that we're so different, but we all cry, we all get unhappy, we're all frustrated in this lockdown. We all feel the same. So we all human beings. As long as we're there for each other.
What's that expression? Yes. We're all in the same boat, but we're not all experiencing the same storm. Is that it?
Correct.
Something like that?
Correct. Something like that. Correct.
So what kind of advice, would you give to somebody who was drowning? That's speaking of storms. Okay. Let's say financially.
If they were drowning financially.
Yeah. Okay. I'm drowning financially. Help me. Save me.
No, but we all are. So, I would sit down realistically, and you would kind of look, and I know it's so difficult. It's very easy for me to say, because sometimes it's easier to just give out advice, but not really have an understanding. But what I would sit and do is that I would sit down and maybe look at what your costs are. What can you do without? What can't you do without? And then I would really, in all honesty, if you needed to go and talk to your bank manager or whoever, go and talk to them. If I think we misunderstand a lot of human beings in the way that we think they're not going to listen. But if you try and you just put your situation out there, people will listen. I mean, as tough as this lockdown has been, there've been some amazing stories how people have helped other people. But you've got to go out there. Yeah, you've just got to be able to say, I need help.
So do you think putting it out to the universe actually brings the help that you need?
In the right environment. I mean, I certainly wouldn't put my Facebook status as I need 2,000 Rand or whatever. But just kind of talk to the people who are close to you and who love you. And we all have people who love us. I don't believe that people are not going to say that they're not loved. Everyone's loved. Everyone has somebody that cares about them, even me, the orphan.
Cue violence. And Darren said,
yes,
hitting a pool noodle against a tiled floor is fabulous. And then obviously nothing gets broken. And then she said, how do you send out the right positive vibes when your life is intense and complex?
Just by realizing that, I know this is it's most probably, it's not, I don't want to say it's not the right thing to say, but when we look at the kinds of scenarios that we're in, we have roofs over our head. We can wake up in the mornings and get out of bed. When I always think of, there's always somebody less fortunate than you.
Oh, I got wrapped over the knuckles for saying that one day. You
Why?
can't, because your existence, you can't compare your existence to somebody else's existence. Okay, so he is sleeping on the street, but maybe he wakes up in the morning and he's happy, But by the same token, your life is not a comparison against somebody else's life.
But you've just always got to put things into context, and you've just got to show gratitude. I mean, the fact of the matter is that I'm healthy. I was able to eat a meal tonight. And I've also realized the one thing that is so key is don't ever take anything for granted. So don't ever believe that, I'll do it next week, next year. No. We all know if our phones went now, your life could change in a second. My life could change. I've had that happen to me, where my phone's gone and it's, okay, well, unfortunately, this is what's happened. So there's no such thing as leaving things for next month and I'll do this. If you want to speak to an old friend who you haven't spoken to for years, pick up the phone them if you don't feel like speaking to them, because I believe that people have lost this element of speaking to each other. Everything has become so
electronic.
We all WhatsApp each other now.
Yeah.
I mean, almost difficult to try and when you meet somebody face to face, because people are so used to having these virtual relationships.
I like virtual relationships. You can have 25 in one day.
No,
and you don't have to feel guilty.
And you don't have to get dressed up for them either. Hey? Save that lipstick.
Yes, lipstick. I'm running out of lipstick, Darren. You won't
believe.
And only because I Zoom every evening that I have to put lipstick on. Some of that lipstick I've had for 5 years, I don't have any more now.
Exactly.
Literally. And you can't test lipstick anymore. Did you know that?
Correct.
So now how do I go and buy lipstick without testing it? So now we're going to have a problem.
Exactly.
I mean, talk about
first world problems.
That's the expression I was looking for.
There's a question here from, do you make them in page or do you get them from other sources? No, I get them from other sources. But I just relate to a lot of the messages that are in the messages there. It's what I find. And then it's amazing how more people relate to those things. I'm like, people write and they go, oh my word, it's like you read my mind. That's exactly how I was feeling. Because a lot of those things are how I feel. I'm not, like I said to you, I'm not doing it because I want likes. It's my therapy to do that. I'm putting that out to the universe. So, yeah.
What do you do for a living now? Can I answer that? He's a kept man, Karen. Yes!
Yeah, so I'm very, very blessed and very, very lucky. But that doesn't mean that I don't take anything for granted. Nothing, because, and this goes back to a life situation that I was in. In my relationship that I was in for 27 years, had built up the most amazing. We had the most amazing home. We had the most amazing this. We had everything, and all of a sudden, it was taken away from me like that. And when I say everything, I mean, everything was taken away. So I've learned the hard way in life with regards to don't take anything for granted. And especially people, family, your family are such an important part of your life. And I know people go, oh, my mother is such a nag, or my sister. But when you understand as an only child and not having parents, I would have loved to have had a brother or a sister that when I was in trouble, I could have gone to and just like share stuff with them. So,
I'm sending my mother to you for 6 months.
With pleasure. Send her.
No, she's actually quite sweet. She normally Zooms with me, but I think the 7 o'clock slot is getting a bit late for her now.
Oh, shame.
Yeah,
Shame.
she's going to be 88 next year, and she does drive me insane. But I actually love having her with me.
Exactly.
Privilege,
exactly. So
yeah.
Exactly, it's a privilege.
But I'm still
that a lot
sending
of
it
people...
to you for 6 months.
That's fine. We'll just Zoom from Bloemfontein. That's all.
She said to me, I just want you to know that I'm not dying before I'm 95. So the other day I said to her, Mom, do you realize that 95 is only about 7 years away? Oh, shit, she says. Well, then I think I'll stick around till I'm 105. I said, okay.
Oh my God. Good luck to you, my dear.
No, you see these gray hairs? I have earned every single one of them from my mother.
So, me too. Good luck.
Where's Mark?
He's upstairs.
Call him.
Watching. Huh?
Call him. We want to meet him.
Hold on a second. Mark! Hold on 1 second.
Mandi has summoned you. How's it going, Andrew? Are you good?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Yeah.
You see what you're in for on Tuesday night?
It looks pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I know we are relaxed. We're very relaxed. We're very informal, and we have a nice laugh. Except if it was Monday. Except for Monday and Tuesday of this week. Monday was tax, and Tuesday was trends. Oh. And I think by Wednesday, everybody who was listening actually wanted to go out and shoot themselves.
Yeah.
Tax was just like, oh my God, SARS. But last night was lovely. Last night we did art. Art was lovely. Hello.
Right.
Oh, there's Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Are you wearing a beanie or a yarmulke?
No. I've got my glasses on my head.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, look how happy he is when you're with him. Look at him. He's like smiling now.
And he's even happier now the dog's arrived as well.
He was like very dour sitting there. I mean, I'm trying to get like these good vibes and things from him, and he wasn't like projecting. He wasn't projecting good vibes. But the minute I said go get Mark, it was like, oh, there was the smile, and boy, was he with it.
He's an uncontrollable force 99% of the time.
Hello, another good-looking one, Gerda says.
Too kind.
What do you do, Mark, that you had to go to Bloem to do it?
I'm a retailer, always have been. So I work for Cambridge Foods, so Massmart's version of ShopRite.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you were with Marks and Spencer's before? I
was with Marks and Spencer in the UK for lots of years, and then with Edcon for the last 8 or so until we came down here.
Just as well you're not with Edcon now, huh?
Yeah, yes, it was a tough 8 years, and this last year's got even more tough.
They owe something like 90 million rand to one creditor.
Yeah, no. It was a financially and emotionally difficult period there.
Well, I'm glad you're out of it, because obviously Bloemfontein agrees with you.
I do describe Bloemfontein a bit when people say, what's it like? I say it's like moving back to 1997 or 1998. And it's very nice, but it's a little bit behind the rest of the country. It's very pleasant, though.
So what was it about you that made Darren get married? What is it about you that made you the one?
I'm not sure. It's a desperation. I don't know. He maybe got to the point. No, I think we said we met very casually, and that was approaching 4 and a bit years ago now. So yeah, it was just very nice. It felt completely right from the first day.
So now, have you got a single brother? Because I've got women here asking me for talent.
No, I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger. One is very happily married, and the other one is very consistently married, as in he keeps trying it and keeps doing it again.
But at least he's an optimist still.
Completely. He's actually due to be coming over to Cape Town this Christmas. He lives in the UK, but he's I don't know, we might still be in lockdown. There might not be any flights. You might have to wait till next year.
Yeah, I don't think they're opening up international till 2021. No. Well, that's okay. At least South Africans can tour their own country. Sorry about that.
Exactly.
Okay. Mark, you're dismissed.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Mark, for indulging me.
And thus, look, here is Spencer.
Hi, Spencer. Aren't you gorgeous?
So, yes.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so now you see, you are a completely different smiler to before we went to get Mark.
Yeah, because he's never done any Zoom calls. He must learn.
Exactly.
Your whole demeanor, your whole energy's changed now. Do you know that?
Well, that's real love. See, and that's the thing. I thought the first relationship was real love, but unfortunately it wasn't. I was misled. Hello, another good-looking one. Okay, I need to ask you a question. Do you think it's true what they say, like, or maybe the rest of it, that what, all the best-looking guys are gay?
Wow. No, not all the best-looking guys are gay.
Okay, good.
But all the best ones to have are gay. Sorry, Andrew. I don't know. I dated I seem to date serial date narcissists, I think.
Yes.
And they're usually quite nice looking, but yeah, definitely self-absorbed and very narcissistic with baggage. I think
a good bit of advice is that every woman should have one gay friend.
Yeah, no, I have a few. There's no.
I bet
you can go out. You can talk about all the men in the room. It's fabulous.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
And there's no competition.
Correct. And they'll be very honest with you and say to you, no, that's not your color lipstick.
Yeah, as Gerda says, gay men take care of themselves. But I tell you what is unfair is that under normal circumstances, I won't use you as an example, 2 gay men in a household makes for a decent income. So many of the gay female couples that I see, those girls just don't get it right. They are constantly broke. Broke rather. There's this family drama. They all come out of marriages that have failed and so they've all got children and grandchildren hanging on their coattails. Exactly. And they can't get it. I mean, it's absolutely tragic. And I know about 3 female couples like that. It's frightening. And yet their male counterparts are all like well-dressed, got the house, got the 5 cars, the motorbike, live in a nice gated complex. So yeah, it's a different story altogether.
What does Gerda say? They take good care of themselves. Yes, we do, Gerda. We try.
Unless we take
but everyone should. Yeah. You know, this has got to last a long time. You only get one of them.
Unless you have plastic surgery, then you can have multiple ones. And those really fat lips.
No. This is all natural. Thank you. So.
Darren, what kind of things are you grateful for?
So I'm grateful for things like my health, that I'm healthy. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head every night. I'm grateful for the food that I'm able to eat. I mean, I'm literally grateful for most of the things in my life. Like I said, I never take anything for granted because I've seen it, and I'm sure most people will tell you, things change in an instant. You can get a phone call and something can happen. You can get a phone call and your boss can say, unfortunately, the company's closing and we're not you can lose your job. It's happened to me like that.
Yeah,
So,
a friend of mine got an email like that the other day. Sorry, no work, no pay, you're gone.
No, exactly. So I think we just have to be grateful for what we've got. And I know it's difficult, and I know it sounds so cliche, but just try and always find the positive in your life, whether it's the friends that you've got, your family, all those kinds of things. Just try. That's what I do.
It's very difficult to constantly maintain a positive, happy outlook in the face of total onslaught, because when bad news starts coming, it just keeps coming. It's know how things go in threes. Well, I just find when things are going shit, that the shit just keeps, it doesn't stop. So how do you get up in the morning and say, shit, I'm grateful for the sunshine, but damn it, I feel like shit?
You know what I do? I allow myself to have shit days. I do. And it can be a shit day, and I'll have a shit day, and then I'll think, and that's what I'm saying to you. I'm not always, I may look like I'm always smiling, but I do. I wake up some days and I feel sad, or I feel whatever. But you've got to allow yourself to have shitty days and bad moments, and that's fine. Whether you cried out or just feel unhappy and sit and eat chocolate the whole day, allow yourself to do those kinds of things. It's normal, it's natural. There's no one in this whole universe that can tell me that 365 days of the year they are constantly happy, because I want to be taking those tablets as well. So for the most part, allow yourself to have shitty days. Allow yourself maybe to have 2 shitty days. I wouldn't go for more than 2, because then it starts becoming depressive. Then you're not going to be showering, and then you're just going to be staying in bed. And
I thought that was lockdown, actually.
Exactly. No, that's called winter. So just try and see the positives every day. The fact that we wake up and sun is there, and I know these things you must be going, oh, that's so cliche. But for me, it's the simple things in life that matter. It's just the person saying, the weirdest thing is somebody will say, hello, how are you? And before you've even thought about it, you'll go, fine, and you? It's amazing how quickly we just think into...
It's our standard answer. Our standard go-to is, I'm fine, because nobody actually cares how you are.
No, I'm not actually fine. Let me tell you, I'm going through the worst shit in my life. But we all have... The thing is that we all have bad days, and it's okay to have a bad day. You'll see, I think I've put that up once as the thing it says. It's okay to have a bad day.
The thing that gets me out of bed every morning is my bladder.
Me too.
It's consistent.
Mine also, and even before it's time to get up, 3 times
like
in the night. 3
times during the night.
Us
is
men,
that an old age thing?
Yes, when we get to a certain age, it's like wake up at 12, 2, 3, 5, eventually just like, shit, let me just get up. So.
But it's cold as well. Actually, that's what I'm grateful for the dogs, because the dogs want to go out, but my dogs are sleepers, so they don't want to go out.
And the thing is that if you can realize that a dog can give you such unconditional love, most of us don't realize that love is the most amazing thing. When you wake up in the morning and that dog licks your face, it's just, even that's an amazing, beautiful thing to be able to experience. And whether it's a dog that does it or a cat, at least, that love is unconditional. So it's there.
When Yogi wakes me up, he wants me to love him. It's got nothing to do with loving me unconditionally. Okay. It's worship me. It's like Yogi saying, I am here, I'm awake, now worship me. I am the king of all that I survey. That's what Yogi's attitude is.
I rule the domain.
Actually, the real reason I get out of bed in the morning is to go and see how many eggs my chickens laid overnight and to give them some food.
Oh, you like old MacDonald.
I swear, isn't it amazing? I would love to have little goats, and I would love to have like a little pig as well, but I don't know if the neighbors would approve. I do live in suburbia.
With a surname like Friedman and having pigs, I don't know how well this is going to work.
I am a farmer's daughter.
Okay. You go, girl.
I learned, Darren, I learned to swim in a green slimy reservoir on a farm.
Right.
I kid you not. Okay. It was disgusting, but I didn't drown. My daddy held me afloat. That's why, like, one of the memories that I do have.
that's
And I did
good.
learn to milk a cow, but I still won't drink milk from the smell of the cow, but that's to this day. But yeah, so I am at heart a farmer's daughter. I'm a nice country girl. I have the body to go with it. I would have made a fabulous farmer's wife. Up at 5 a.m. churning the butter.
We should have put you on that program, Boer soek 'n Vrou.
Ja, boer soek 'n Joodse vrou. Let's make a profit this year, dude.
Exactly. We'll do the Jewish version.
Yeah, I know. Shame. My dad, he farmed strawberries and dairy. We had a little farm in Oostfontein, but that was 100 years ago. And then, of course, he dropped dead when I was about 6, so that really didn't help.
Shame.
But my parents were already divorced. They were divorced before I was born. So I have one of those childhoods, just by the way.
No, but that's good. You're lucky. So you're very lucky. So, yeah.
So does anybody have any questions for Darren? Because this talk didn't go quite as how I was expecting, because I was expecting him to like hand out all these good vibes and project.
I did hand out good vibes.
You handed out beautiful vibes the minute I mentioned the word Mark.
Oh, come on.
Look at it. The minute I say Mark, you like smile from ear to ear.
No, well, that to show you it's always nice to be in love. And we've only just been married. We only got married in February, so it's still kind of a little bit of a honeymoon phase.
How long did you live together for, though?
About a year and a bit. And that's the other thing that I want to say, is that relationships must always be the way you want it to be. People have this thing that all relationships have to follow this thing of, well, you have to do this together and you have to do that. No, that's bullshit. If your relationship works in a way that you want to sleep in that bedroom and your husband or your partner wants to, then do it if it works for you. And if it means that if you need to go and spend some time with your friends, go and do it. Do what works for you. We spend far too much of our time worrying about what people are going to think in terms of our relationships and how it must conform. No ways. Everyone, my basic thing, as long as you're happy, that's the most important thing.
I think in a relationship, like with me, probably there should be like red, yellow, and green lights above the door. And if it's green, it's come on in, it's fabulous, have a nice evening. Yellow would be come on in, it's be a little bit cautious. And red would be come on in on pain of death. You take your life in your hands, you walk in this room tonight. I think that would kind of be the perfect relationship setup. Do you still volunteer? I found that working not too long ago for a good cause, even if it's only an hour a month, gives great meaning to my life and it gives me so much. Absolutely.
I agree with Karen there. That feeling of just being able to help people that are that less fortunate than you just is the most, you can't put a monetary value to it. It's just the most incredible feeling to be able to help people. So when we moved to Blomari, I did a bit of work with hospice. But then, unfortunately, due to the lockdown, everything just became so difficult that I obviously had to stop. But if I could, once this is over, I'll definitely, and when I come back to Joburg, I'm definitely getting involved in another charity to just try and make sure that I can help people that are less fortunate than me. I'm going to start a charity to the Look After Mandi Fund. That's fine. Just tell us the bank account details and I'll put my 25 cents in there. Oh, thank you. I went to Nedbank today to I want to pay for Facebook adverts, which you can't do apparently on my particular type of account. So they tried to open a new account. Can you believe that Nedbank couldn't get my account open? It was like she kept going through cards. This card doesn't work. This card doesn't work. I stood there for an hour while we went from one card to the next. Anyway, eventually said, we'll make a card for you and come back. So apparently I have a new Nedbank account. She wants to punch her organization. Dogtown. That's fine. Absolutely. Animals are creatures. We all have souls and those animals have souls as well. So good on you, Karen. Whatever makes you happy. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sure it does. And I'm sure whatever you can do in some little way, even if it's the smallest thing, just try and do something. Do good. Do no harm and be kind always. And smile. And smile. No, don't smile. That was a grimace.
Darren John Cohen.
Yes.
Parting
yes.
comment.
Parting comment would be, do what makes you happy. Don't take things for granted. And we on this earth for such a short amount of time, just enjoy it.
Do you believe we come back, just as a matter of interest?
I've often thought about that. Possibly. I mean, it's not an area that I've delved into extensively, but hopefully, and I'm hoping that if you do good, you come back as something good.
As one of your dogs.
Spencer.
Fantastic. Thank you, Darren. It's been an absolute fabulous
Thank you,
chatting
Mandi.
to you. Thank you, everybody
Thank you,
else.
everybody else for listening to us chat away. And like I said, yeah, just go to bed tonight. Just be grateful for what you've got. The fact that we could do something like this, chat to each other, and just take care, everyone.
And you too. There's nothing tomorrow, but on Saturday, we are going to Ireland and we're going to tour. I think we're touring Galway with Mike Hutchinson. He's fabulous. He's our own little leprechaun.
Yes.
So if you want to come to Galway with us on Saturday morning, that's where you'll find us at 10:30. And then on Tuesday, wave Andrew. On Tuesday, we're talking to Andrew, the brave man who came to see what's going on tonight. So looking forward to that.
Why is Andrew? What brave? Why was?
He's got a brace for impact. You know, like I said, you brace for impact. See what happens on one of these talks.
Andrew, keep a gin next to you.
Or a nice glass of red wine.
Exactly.
Everybody, thank you very much. Have a fabulous evening. Great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, Mans. Bye.